Democrats hate America, and that's not my opinion or something that I'm just making up because I want it to be true. I actually don't want it to be true. That's what they themselves have said in a recent series of Gallup polls that we're going to be showing on the show today. As always, guys, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so other great patriots like yourselves will see it. So 90% of the time, guys, on the show, when I'm talking about Democrats, I'm talking about the Democrat elite. I'm talking about the leaders of the party, the people who are making the decisions. And I'm not really talking about average, everyday Americans who vote Democrat. And I make this distinction because I think Democrat elites are evil. 100% full stop. I don't make any, there's no ifs or buts about it. There are, though, plenty of good people who are Democrats and are either one-issue voters maybe, and they think the Democrat Party is a little bit better on that issue for whatever reason, or they're simply ill-informed. But I think we can be friends with them, no problem. In fact, I've got lots of Democrat friends. I think we need to be about the business of persuasion. Obviously, if we call them evil, that's not persuasive. Democrat elites are different. But these people, everyday Americans, are fine. And so, when I say Democrats today, I am not talking about the elite, unfortunately, actually. I'm talking about Democrat voters at large because that is who was polled in this Gallup study. I want to show you the first two polls. This one is no distinction on partisanship. This is just American people at large. And the question for those of you who are just listening is, how proud are you to be an American? And this is from 2001 to 2025 when they did their most recent one. And what you see is that on all counts, from extremely proud to just a little bit proud, it's gone down. People are less proud today than they've been since the turn of the century. Now, if you look at partisanship, this is what really tells the full story and where it gets a little bit scary. What you see is the Republican Party in 2001, if you're a Republican, 90% say they're extremely or very proud of America. Today, it's 92%. So it's actually gone up just a little bit. And over time, again, if you're just listening, it doesn't change very much. It goes up and down just a tad bit, but it pretty much stays consistent above 90 or at least 80%. If you look at independents, it has fallen 30%, a lot, from 84% to 53%. But if you look at Democrats, it's gone down even more from 87% to 36%, a 50-point swing, which is huge. And so what that really, and by the way, if you're looking, Democrats are at 80% when Obama is president. It's not until Donald Trump becomes president that it really, really goes downhill. So that's the difference when it comes to party. They also have differences when it comes to age, which I'm going to show you in a second. But there's really two key takeaways from these polls, in my opinion. Democrats don't like America, and they have not liked America for about 10 years now. You see the big drop-off in 2015. Democrats have not liked America for at least 10 years. And the second one is that it matters to Democrats a lot who is president. And that's a sad thing, I think. If you're a Democrat, then you should be proud of America no matter what. If you're a Democrat and there's a Democrat president, what you see in that data is that you like America just a little bit more. You're a little bit more proud of America. But you'll notice in the same polls for Republicans, it hardly matters who is president to them. It stays above 80% the whole time. It goes down a little bit under Biden and it goes up during Trump, but by about 5%, not by 50% like it is for Democrats. American pride is still strong for Republicans even when it is a Democrat president. And believe me, by the way, no conservative had an easy time supporting Obama or Biden as president. And when I say support, I just mean wanting America to succeed. Obviously, we never supported Obama or Biden, but it would have been very easy for Republicans, especially conservative ones, to say they don't like America when Biden and Obama were president. They did not. They said, we still love our country. And I think this really shows a key difference in political ideologies. The Democrats see the president as America. They see their elected politicians as America. Republicans do not. They really don't. We see America as America. And our elected politicians are just kind of simply people who we've entrusted to briefly handle some of the affairs of America. That's how Republicans see it. And I even say some of the affairs because beyond our year-to-year politicians, I think Republicans understand that we have a constitution and legal precedent, and that is what makes America America, the Constitution at the end of the day. This is something that evidently most Democrats don't understand. I'm just going off the polling data for that. Now, looking at polls 3 and 4, this is for age. What you see is that every single generation, unfortunately, since 2001 has actually said they're less proud of America than before. However, obviously, if you go down on the generations, the younger you are, the less proud you are. So You see the silent generation goes from 93 to 83. Baby boomer, is 90 to 75%. Gen X is 86 to 71, and then Gen Z all the way at the bottom is only at 41% say they're proud to be an American. However, that does not even tell the whole story, because if you break it down by party lines, what you see here is that it's actually incredibly strong for all generations among Republicans. The silent baby boomer and Gen X are all in the 90s. Millennials 87% and Gen Z is 65%, which there's a lot of work to be done there, but it's much higher than Gen Z in the Democrat column, which is 24% say they're proud only. Every single demographic in the Democrat column says they are less proud to be an American than the Republican one. So even among young people, it's really a Democrat problem. It's not really a Republican one. Again, I think conservatives in my generation, I'm Gen Z, certainly need to get their act together. 65% is not high enough. It makes no sense. And I'll tell you why. I'll just kind of speak from my perspective in the younger generation. Something interesting about this poll is that it starts in 2001. 2001 is going to de-age me a bit, but that's the year I was born. And so I'm looking at a study here from my entire lifespan. This is every single year that I've ever lived. And the reality is, I had to think to myself, what's changed in the amount of time I've been living? And I think what I've come to the conclusion of is myself, I include myself in this, we as Gen Z are, and even some millennials I think as well, we are too young to remember communism in China and the USSR. We're too young to remember communism in Cuba. Even though there is still communism in Cuba, it's not in the news because it's not connected to the USSR like it was. We don't remember communism in Chile or any South American country, which every single one at one point pretty much had, large communist parties or actual run communist governments there. We're too inexperienced in a lot of ways to understand the sheer gift it is to live in the easiest place in the world to start a business. I think we assume way too much. We assume, because a lot of people do, my age it's a big age of traveling. We like to go places, but traveling is not living. It's not the same thing. And so I think we assume as a younger generation that it's like this in other countries, that America is not that special. And the reality is it's never been like this in other countries, and it's not this way now. It is not easy to start a business in other first world countries. It is not. It's not the same thing. It is simply a function, in my opinion, this low approval or this low confidence in America. It's a function of a forgetful society and an inexperienced youth that has not seen what socialism and what a centralized federal government can do to people. We just don't know it. It's never happened in large scale in our lifetime in the same way that it did in the 90s and the 80s. And I think that's why young people in Gen Z and millennials have produced the likes of Zohran Mamdani, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You have Greta Thunberg. You've got David Hogg. David Hogg, I think, is the same exact grade as me. And we produce those people because we don't remember what it's like for rampant leftism to destroy full countries. So I don't want to just leave it there. I actually want to talk about the problems and then provide solutions. So this is my solution. My proposal is that we remind people what makes America America, especially younger people, because you can see that it's mostly young Democrats and some young Republicans who are struggling with being proud of America. I think we need to continually remind everyone that socialism and social Marxism does not work when they think it does, because a lot of people think it does. I talk to them online, I talk to them in person. What I'm hearing from people is, that's not real communism. It's like, that's a trope at this point. We've heard that for literally decades. Yes, it is real communism. That is the natural outcome of what communism is. When we're talking about the USSR, for instance, and people will say, no, that's not real communism. It is real communism. When places like New York get taken over by communists like Mamdani, I think we need to insulate ourselves against that as much as possible. We can pray for New York, but I think at the end of the day, New York and places like that need to be insulated and made as an example, a way to remind ourselves what communists do. And hopefully that reminder will save us from doing that to our whole country, because it can just be isolated in one place like New York, for example, or California. And again, hopefully it doesn't spread to the rest of the country, but people will see the failed policies in there and realize, this is what everybody else is talking about. This is what Gen X and the baby boomers have talked about happening in China and the USSR and South America. Then maybe, if we remember those things, our national pride will increase once again. The left is a cult, guys. I talk all about it in my book, A New Cult. I talk about some crazy stories, some things I think you'll enjoy reading. Go check it out right now. It's actually on sale on Amazon. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching the show, everybody. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel so other great patriots like yourselves will see it. And tune in every single weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show. Or you can watch another video right here.